I'm gonna put this in the beginning of the video, but let me know down below what car you guys daily drive, or do you daily drive your race car? Let me know. Bruh, of course it's gotta be raining. And of course it's locked. Neighbor's taking out the trash. I shouldn't do this, but Let's go, come on. This dude, look at this, there we go. Good old OG video, but before we start, I just want to say this car's my baby. I love her and we've come a long way. Oh, I screamed. Go, and she done. I really love this car, but this is just a video we have to make. If you're new here, my name is Danny. That is a twin turbo Nissan 300ZX 1992, the baby of the channel, the project car of the channel. And we also have a 2009 Nissan 370Z, which is a newer car, so I'm gonna reference back to that one a lot and kind of compare both. First, I want to start off with mods and how long I've had this car. This, like I said, 1992 twin turbo Nissan 300ZX. And we'll run over here. Kind of basically a full straight pipe, bigger intercoolers, blow-off valves, aftermarket steering wheel. It's lowered on coilovers, aftermarket wheels, a few cosmetic stuff for the exterior, but that's pretty much it. Nothing big, nothing crazy. It's still relatively stockish. It doesn't feel stock and it doesn't sound stock, but it's kind of stock. And well, from owning this 90s JDM Legend, I want to go ahead and just tell you guys why you can't daily drive it, or why it's very difficult to do it, and why I don't recommend you daily drive a car like this, or R32, Supra. Which, I mean, a lot of you might argue that this car isn't really legendary, but like, it kind of is. So, maintenance or how often the car breaks down. Putting this in the beginning of the list because I just want you to know, if you're buying a 90s or older JDM or muscle or just project car in general, do not expect it to drive like your new 2010 Mustang or a 2020 Mustang or your new cool BRZ or FRS or your sick 370Z. It's not gonna be like that. You're gonna enjoy it for a month, then something goes wrong, then another thing goes wrong, you're gonna fix it, then you're gonna drive for like 3 months, you're gonna be hyped, then something else is gonna happen, then something else is gonna happen, and it's gonna start going downhill from there, and you're gonna run out of money. But what I'm trying to get at is the car will 100% break down, something's gonna go wrong with it, or just something's gonna happen overall. Which is why you shouldn't daily drive it, and you should leave it just for like a weekend car, or like once in a while type of car, because if you daily drive this car, that's bound to break down. It's gonna be very, very, very difficult to even be able to daily drive because of how often you're gonna be spending time in the garage or just fixing it in general. For example, I bought this car, I actually was very lucky, drove great, but then a few months later, clutch went out. Had to change the clutch myself and everything. Then a few months later, had to do maintenance. Very pricey, which I'm gonna get into pricing and parts later, and then when I spent like hours and hours and hours and hours doing the clutch myself, and I was gonna turn on the car, well, there was basically zero clutch pressure, and I could not figure it out. I was asking around to everybody, so I had to take it to someone. So when you think you have one thing resolved, it's gonna cause another problem, and it's gonna go downhill from there. And remember, the car's old, so even if it has low miles, it had a previous owner. You have no idea what that previous owner did to the car. Like, for example, my previous owner was cool enough to use a Gatorade bottle as coolant, as a coolant reservoir. Like, what's good, bro? What's good? And when I bought the car, it had 179,000 miles, and it never had its 120 maintenance thing done. Yeah, I did it, but I bought the car with like 59,000 miles over the maintenance, the timing maintenance, the important thing. So you just never know, and when you daily drive it, you're just getting that much closer to thing going terribly bad. I'm sorry to say it, but it's just the reality. I think the biggest thing, mechanically, you could say, is sensors and just little things in general. And the bad thing about it is, you might think it's that little CPU sensor, but then you're like, the car's old. Should I just go ahead and change the whole wiring harness? which you probably won't need to, and it's just a little sensor, but you just can't get to it, you can't find it. Like for me, for example, the car when I got it idled really bad, and it turned out to be a $100 sensor, and I almost went ahead and bought a whole harness and went through a huge headache just because I wanted to be sure, but I actually took my chances and it was the sensor, so I got saved on that one. Things like that are just gonna happen. Sensors are gonna go bad, cables are gonna corrode, and like I said, the more you drive it, the more you daily drive it, the worse it's gonna get. That blow up out. This car's really loud, and well, I don't have anywhere to put the camera, so this section's gonna take a hit, but next up, honestly, I can touch on this one pretty good. I've owned the car for like a year and a half, driven it an hour, driven it 10 minutes, drifted it. I've pretty much done almost everything with this car. Oh, look at the 350Z. Yo, Z gang. So from my experience driving an older Japanese car, if you live in a small city like me, I don't think it's gonna be that much uncomfortable, but if you gotta drive long distances, or if it's the only car you have and you have to drive, let's say, like an hour away, it is a pretty uncomfortable and just sketchy ride, because I don't know what it is about an older JDM car, but the bushings and the suspension just aren't there. They're not as new as when the car came out, and everything just starts feeling a little funky, and you start like swerving side to side for like absolutely no reason, and it's not as stiff, and a fun ride turns into like a sketchy, worrying type of ride. It's like right here we're making a turn, right? Third gear slowly. And like I'm scared that this car's gonna go sideways. There's no traction control, no nothing. So you gotta like really focus. Alright, now we're straight. Now we're good. Now we're chilling. But like you just worry a lot more. But that drivability, it's not bad unless you're going long distances. Depends if you have an exhaust. If you have an exhaust, it's gonna be loud in the cabin. It's gonna drone a lot. But overall, I give it like a 6 out of 10. When I drive this or the 370Z long distance, definitely the 370Z, you feel a lot more comfortable, a lot more secure. This car, I don't feel that secure in this car, if I'm being completely honest with you guys. Especially driving in the rain like I am doing right now. But we gotta do it for the vlog. Now we gotta get there safe. That's how you gotta do it. Things break. Things are gonna break. Things will break. Since the car's old, you're daily driving it, using it daily, just using wear and tear, things will break. And I'm not talking about mechanical wise, I'm talking about just, the last thing you think would break, breaks, and the dumbest ways. For example, check this out. For those that don't drive a 300ZX, this is basically cruise control, lights, and all that. Look at this. It's broken. I'm gonna show you guys how this plastic little thing just broke randomly. I'm just going to school right here, and bam, I hit it with my knee right here. Just a slow tap right there. I just hit it with my knee right there. Part breaks. One day I was trying to show my friends the T-tops because they're actually really cool, and well, the handle for the T-top completely just ripped. Why? It just doesn't want to be here anymore. It's old. It just wants to go. It's just bound to happen. And if you're the type of person where you're like, oh crap, I broke it, let me just go ahead, buy it online real quick. Relax, relax, relax. This is gonna bring me to my next point. Next up is something I never ever thought about, and if I can just help one of you, just it's worth it, and that is how hard things are to get. Let's say on my 370Z, I crack okay, let me just think. I crack this trim right here. I go on Z1, go on eBay, go on anywhere, buy it right that night. For a 300ZX, you have to like spend hours and hours and hours looking for a specific part, then making sure the guy's not ripping you off because the part is X amount old, it's been in the garage for 10 years, and the guy just wants way too much for a used car part. It is so hard, and just parts are so scarce. You really cannot find a lot of parts for the 300ZX, especially new. Like, check this out. So let's say this trim right here breaks. One, you don't know who has it, and two, if a store has it brand new, they're probably gonna give you like a 3-month waiting time, and it's just ridiculous. Honestly, it sucks. And I can give you guys so many more examples of how hard things are to find for this car, especially the trim pieces. Trim pieces are so freaking hard to find. Facebook and part outs are your best friend. Like, I have joined every single 300ZX Facebook group ever, and every night my mission is to make sure I find the part that I need before everybody else. So I gotta spend like an hour a night. It's expensive. Where it is car parts, or if you don't do it yourself, which I really highly recommend that if you buy a car like this, you have some type of like mechanic knowledge. If you want to save a lot of money and you don't want to spend a lot of money on labor, because labor is going to absolutely destroy you. Parts are hard to find, so it's gonna make them even more expensive. So it's expensive to maintain, it's expensive to just daily drive. The parts are really hard to find, like I said. That's why they're a lot more expensive than your typical 90s car or even newer car. I already touched on trim pieces, but I actually went ahead and restored like 90% of the trim on the 300ZX. The cowl, this, all this trim right here. If I bought all this brand new, every single trim piece, at least $1,500. At least. That's why DIY, when you own a car like this, is your best friend. That DIY and just doing everything yourself. Which, subscribe to this channel because I show you how to do DIY stuff the cheap way, but the quality way. But if I'm being completely honest, when I did daily drive this car, I found myself having more fun in this car and just appreciating it and enjoying it more than the 370Z, which is kind of crazy to think about. But then again, 90s Japanese cars are just one of the funnest thing. Like, you won't get it until you drive one. So I really highly recommend you guys buy one, like a cool project car. With that said though, leave a big thumbs up on this video. That's everything I want to talk about. I hope it helped. I hope you guys can relate. Let me know down below what you guys daily drive or what you guys drive in general. Peace out. Thank you all so much for watching. As always, be sure to subscribe to. We're trying to reach 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. See you guys later. Hasta luego.